What is the number one killer in the Black community? Heart disease, cancer, crime? What if I told you that the number one killer in the Black community ends more Black lives every year than the next 15 leading causes combined? And what if I told you that this dominant cause of death, which accounts for over 426,000 deaths of the most vulnerable Black lives each year, is entirely preventable? What is this mysterious killer which so targets the Black community that the Reverend Jesse Jackson once correctly called it a genocide against Blacks? The answer is abortion. That comes as a shock to many. Sadly, it's even more shocking that the NAACP, which once sued me for calling out their pro-abortion extremism, is complicit in this ongoing atrocity. The answer also tends to trigger the self-appointed gatekeepers of the public square, whether they occupy City Hall, a state house, a federal bureaucracy, or posh Silicon Valley big tech headquarters. Too often, these societal hall monitors turn to censorship, a cowardly violation of First Amendment principles, with the sole aim of keeping the public, you, in the dark on a truly life or death issue. My name is Ryan Bomberger. I'm Chief Creative Officer and co-founder of the Radiance Foundation, a life-affirming, faith-based, factivist nonprofit. For 15 years, Radiance has created fearless yet compassionate content to address the greatest human rights injustice of our day. Abortion is tragic no matter the beautiful hue of skin, but a highly disproportionate number of abortions are committed on Black lives. In Manhattan, home of the nation's largest abortion business, Planned Parenthood, more Black babies were aborted than born alive in the last reported year. There were 1,159 aborted for every 1,000 born alive. In all of New York City, Black babies are over 4 times more likely to be aborted than white babies. Those numbers are also reflected at the national level, where Black babies are aborted at rates 4.5 times higher than white babies. No demographic is hit harder statistically by abortion than the Black community. Planned Parenthood kills more Black lives in 2 weeks than the KKK killed in a century. And that's by design. Severely reducing or eliminating poor Black birth rates has been central to Planned Parenthood's mission since day one. Even a coalition of 300 current and former Planned Parenthood employees admitted in an online manifesto that its founder, Margaret Sanger, who spoke to a KKK gathering and others like that, was a racist. They also proclaimed that the organization, quote, has a history and a present steeped in white supremacy, end quote. The issue isn't white supremacy, but it is racism, and that can reside in any heart that invites it in. Today, Planned Parenthood is relentlessly focused on racially targeted abortion in communities already ravaged by violence. Our nation's founders named life itself as the very first of the unalienable rights endowed upon us by our Creator, and therefore deserving of full protection under the law. But they didn't end the thought process there. These men were aware of many of their own flaws, and they knew that without the ability to speak freely in defense of these God-given rights, to openly debate unpopular ideas and express inconvenient truths, it was only a matter of time before the rest of those rights would be silently trampled underfoot. A hero of mine, Frederick Douglass, said it well, quote, "Liberty is meaningless where the right to utter one's thoughts and opinions has ceased to exist," end quote. Douglass's words rang true when I learned about a fireman named Stephen Melton. A longtime firefighter, Stephen was fired for sharing a Facebook meme that called attention to the indisputable fact that Black babies are uniquely targeted for abortion in this country. Rather than respecting Stephen's God-given freedom to speak his mind, the mayor of his Arkansas city destroyed his reputation and ran him out of public service. Stephen was branded as a racist for making a post supportive of Black babies. That's an outrage all by itself, but the city's decision to fire him was illegal, a blatant violation of his constitutionally protected freedom, which he's courageously challenging in court. When I heard about Stephen's case, I knew I had to stand with him. No one should be punished for speaking the truth, and that certainly doesn't change just because you decide to put your life on the line for your neighbors. So with the help of Alliance Defending Freedom, I joined like-minded advocates at the Douglass Leadership Institute and Speak for Life to file a friend of the court brief supporting his lawsuit. Abortion is a horrific injustice and a monstrous abuse of human rights. It intentionally inflicts a devastating toll on mothers and babies in America, especially in Black communities. You're free to push back if you disagree, but you're not free to use the power of the government to silence me or any other American. There is no America without free speech. For more episodes like this, visit adflegal.org/freedommatters. Follow this channel on YouTube and subscribe so you never miss an episode.